Hello, everybody. It's Julia Langley here with our Friday Lunchtime Live with Langley series. And I'm so excited about the guest I have today, you guys. And I'm so excited to introduce to you Crystal, and let me make sure, Almeida. And did I say that correctly, Crystal?
You did. That was perfect.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm working on that. And I just want to make sure we've got Facebook. So we are live on LinkedIn and Facebook now. And so I know it'll be sending out notifications to get people to come in and join us. Crystal is with one of my favorite organizations. She is the founder of it, the Mom Link. And we're going to be talking about that today, a little bit, how she got started in the Mom Link, what they're doing amazing work with the Mom Link, and I'm part of it. So let's just jump right in. Crystal, tell us about the Mom Link, how you got started in it, and what's your inspiration behind founding it?
Yes, I love telling the story of how I got started. And I love sharing it because it inspires other women, other moms out there. If you ever had something that you've always thought you were meant to do, or from a young age had that burning feeling like you were meant for more, follow it. Because here I am at 40 years old following it. And I can honestly say I'm in such alignment in life and really living in purpose right now because of the Mom Link and because I am following building the dream business I've always wanted. So, yes, I'm the CEO and founder of the Mom Link, a community for women supporting women in business. We call it the one-stop shop for female entrepreneurs. And before I jump into how we got here, because it really did start from a young age and a passion, a burning passion, desire of mine since a very young age, as a young female entrepreneur, I would have called myself. But the Mom Link was created, and what it's turned into today is turned into this all-inclusive resort, this one-stop shop where female entrepreneurs can get all the education, resources, referrals, the skills that they need to build sustainable and successful businesses. And I emphasize sustainable because I think oftentimes in entrepreneurship, we jump in, we invest in all of these things and the shiny objects that we think are going to blow up the business. But nobody tells entrepreneurs that is like less than 1% of a chance that that's going to happen. The way you're going to blow up your business is not investing that $10, $20, $30,000. It's actually starting from a grassroots approach and doing the work, getting the education, getting the tools that you need. And you have to do the work. Even if you invest in some program, invest in a coach, you still need to do the work. You need to do the work, and you need to not be doing it alone. So one of the inspirations behind the Mom Link is entrepreneurship is lonely, right? It's definitely a lonely journey.
Yes.
So if you can actually link arms and be in community, immersed around like-minded females who are in the trenches with you, that journey becomes less lonely, less difficult, and you'll get to where you want to get to a little bit quicker because you're going together. The other reason for the Mom Link and the community and creating this like one-stop shop is I don't believe a new entrepreneur should be spending her cash flow on a $5,000 program to learn the skills she needs. I mean, for goodness sakes, we have YouTube. You can go to YouTube University. You can get the education and resources you need all over the internet. But it's different when you get to come into a community and learn from other female entrepreneurs who have already done what you're trying to accomplish. So the Mom Link is about women connecting, collaborating, and kicking that door open so we can create our own opportunities in life through a community of female entrepreneurs. So that's a little bit about the Mom Link. How did I get started and where did this like passion project come from? Well, as a young girl, I had a burning desire to change the world, to pay it forward, to get in nonprofit work. And so I did that. Julia, I was known as the bake sale queen as a young girl. Bake sale queen.
I have to. Did you bake your own goods?
I
That's what.
did. Julia, I did. I baked my own Rice Krispies. And at the time, this will tell you how old I am, but at the time we were selling them for like 25 cents. I mean, you cannot find a baked good anymore for 25 cents.
No, you
But
can't find anything for 25
I would
cents.
sit in my school, in my student lobby area, and sell Rice Krispies for 25 cents, saying, we're going to make poverty history. And I was just, I really believed that I really believed I was going to do that. And so that quickly, fast forward, that rolled into me getting involved with volunteer work. So I started volunteering in my community. I started volunteering on my campus. And then fast forward, I'm in university and I'm in, international studies and political science. And all of a sudden I start my own little organization on my campus. And we set out to raise $25,000 to send to West Africa. And we did it. And here I am speaking in lecture rooms about, making poverty history, about HIV. And I was just, so passionate. So it turned into an 18-year career in the nonprofit sector. I did some incredible work. It's always been my calling to work in the nonprofit sector. And I knew I had some special gifts to bring to the world. And my special gift I've come to realize, and this is why the Mom Link came about, I'm a community builder. I know how to build community. I know how to inspire a group of people or how to mobilize citizens to come together for a greater cause and to find purpose through paying it forward and working together in collaboration. So the pandemic came around. Okay, wait, hold on. Let me rewind. So I did my nonprofit sector, 18 years. I felt completely fulfilled. I was like, this is my purpose in life. And then I got married and it was time to have kids. I had kids and I'm like, oh, forget the nonprofit sector. This is making me fulfilled. I am now complete. Motherhood was my purpose. And that's all I wanted. I literally threw activist Crystal out the door and I'm like, forget about her. We don't need her anymore. Motherhood's like my purpose in life. And then something happens in motherhood. And for anybody listening in, if you're a mom, drop something in the chat to say you agree, but you immerse yourself into motherhood and you get rid of any other identity outside of being a mom and you just love it. Right. And then my kids, I had 2 kids back to back. And when my youngest turned 2, I'm like, I no longer feel as fulfilled anymore. There's something missing. And I cried to my husband and I said, I want old activist Crystal back. I want activist Crystal who had that burning fire and passion to change the world. I need her back. And so I went searching for her. And in the middle of the pandemic, isolated, I got on this social audio app with a girlfriend of mine. And I said, let's become influencers. Let's do something around motherhood or, being moms. And so fast forward, we found each other, a few women on Clubhouse. We got together. There was 3 of us mothers experiencing the same thing. And we started to build this community for women during a pandemic to connect, to network, to collaborate, to not feel so isolated. And it literally snowballed into a 35,000 community.
35,000. That's crazy.
35,000 communities. So it was a need. We were fulfilling a need. We weren't the other moms going through this identity crisis and needed something more than just being a mom and needed to be a part of something bigger. And it brought back activist Crystal. And now I'm here. I'm speaking to the bake sale queen again, who is part of this movement of women who are literally canceling this culture of competition that's been holding us back and instead embracing collaboration as the door of opportunity so that we can truly succeed in building the business of our dreams. So long story short, that's how I got back to my bake sale queen and building this incredible community that literally gives me life and purpose every day.
Well, I think that's amazing. And I think you're giving life and purpose to a lot of other people as well. There's so many points that I was sort of jotting down while you were talking about. There's so many points that you just made in here that I really want to bring out before we go any further, actually. I mean, first and foremost is that you had a passion. And so often these things start when we're young, right? And we set them aside. I mean, I had I had that happen to me as well with writing. I found a book I wrote when I was 8. My mom helped me put wallpaper over the 70s wallpaper, the old cornflowers over the top of it, and made a book, and I misspelled mysteries on the front of it. But
Oh
what
my
my
goodness.
yeah, I know. But my point in saying that is I always love to write short stories. Well, here I am, an author as an entrepreneur, and I'm writing as well. I things that I did when I was younger. I'm still I've come full circle with them, and I think this is what you're saying has happened to you, and the Mom Link has come out of that passion, just revisiting. And so I urge anyone listening today, really, really look at what those things were that made you happy early in your life. And maybe there's a variation of that somewhere
Oh,
in
yes.
your
And don't
future.
let it haunt you, right?
Right,
As
right,
women, I think we need to prioritize what is that burning passion and desire, and whatever it is, chase it and go after it, because you don't want to come to an age where you realize now it's haunting me. I wish I coulda, shoulda done it,
right.
all that stuff. So, yeah.
Well, and that brings me to another point that you just made when you were talking about that, is that you said, "Oh, I want to do this. I told my husband I want to do this." And then the next thing you know, you have 35,000 members. You made the decision to do it, and then you just did it. Okay.
Yes.
And I think that this is where people get stuck so often. You're talking about new entrepreneurs, new speakers, which is in my area of expertise. So, and we're talking about that first step sometimes is the most difficult step. But if you're committed and you're going off that passion that we just talked about, you're committed, you need a change, then you just move on it. Right, Crystal? You just
Yes.
move. You
Oh,
just act.
yes.
And it comes. We were discussing this
Oh,
beforehand,
my goodness, Julia, it is so true. Okay, so there are a couple things. So I just shared a reel about this. And it's that whole like start before you're ready. You're never going to be ready. You're never going to have the courage. You're never going to be like rid of fear to start something that you want to. You're never going to know how to do it. Like just start before you're ready. Now, start before you're ready, but don't skip the foundational steps along the way, right? So I
Exactly.
think when we push people to say like start before you're ready, but it doesn't mean start at like letter X. Like it means still start at step one,
Know
and
what
then
level you're on at that
yes. And
point.
then one step, one foot in front of the other, and you keep on going, right? And there's no success without process, right? You
No.
have to go through the process. And when I just shared like this beautiful story of the bake sale queen, and then this burning desire to change the world, and boom, 35,000 members. Like, I mean, there was process in there, right?
Absolutely. And a lot of hard work and sweat and sweat equity as well.
Oh
You
my
worked
goodness.
hard.
Oh my
And
goodness.
and
Yes.
and this is a point to bring out when we were talking you were talking about coaching, which I think coaching is great. I do a lot of coaching myself, and versus the collaboration with the group. And I don't think one they work separate. I actually think that they work together. Even with it, you have to have the collaboration. If you're going to be a coach, you have to have collaboration. You also are learning. So this is all part of that process that you were talking about in growing and expanding and going from A to B to C. And the next thing you know, you got 35,000 members, right, Crystal?
And Julia, I like that you said like a coach, a community, the tools, the learning, the steps, like everything works together. And so I don't want to discourage anybody from investing in a coach or investing in a program, or no, you need to invest in yourself. You have to do these things. It's like,
Right.
how did I get my degree? And how did I get to go work in the nonprofit sector? Well, I had to do the things to get the things, right? I had to go and
Absolutely.
become a professional student who never wanted to leave and get degrees. But then I had to volunteer. People used to ask me all the time, like, Crystal, how'd you get to go and do that work in West Africa? Like, so cool. You've traveled to so many countries doing some awesome work. How did you do that? And I'm like, you start by volunteering. I
That's
didn't
right.
just get to go and do those things. Somebody didn't just say, well, Crystal, we want to honor you with getting to go work in other countries and do this really cool work and speak on stages. No, you have to do the grunt work. Like you have to do the work first, right?
That's right. That's
And
called
so,
paying your dues as well. Some people have heard
yes,
it that way, but paying your dues really means getting in there and learning those steps that Crystal was just talking about. Those steps, not starting at X,
yeah,
actually starting at A and learning as you go. And I'm a big believer, Crystal, and I'm pretty sure you're probably going to agree with me. By doing, I think you learn by doing, because you
mm-hmm.
can sit there and you can read the car manual all day long. You can sit in the driver's seat and get the feel of the wheel. But until you get in the game, until you get that car out on the road and you practice and you drive it, you're not going to get any better at driving.
Oh, so true. Oh my goodness. And I think that's why I emphasize, like why Mom Link created this, because I think oftentimes entrepreneurs, and you see this for sure, the chasing of the squirrels, or like being like the shiny object issue.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's so when I say it's not the coach that's going to do it for you, or I don't want to see entrepreneurs invest. I think you should invest in these things when you're ready and you understand that you still need to do the work. And what you see in
Absolutely.
entrepreneurship is people looking to spend the 5, 10, 20,000 and thinking that that shiny object is what's going to blow up your business, and not
That's right.
realizing nobody, no thing, no whatever investment you make is actually going to do it for you. Nobody's going to drive the car for you,
That's
right?
you're exactly right. And I say the same thing and I'm actually going to put an example to it. For example, like fancy branding. Now, I think brand is extremely important and you have to have it, but you can go out and you can spend $50,000 to $100,000 on getting logos and branding and all this stuff. And 1 year later, you're in a completely different place as an entrepreneur and you want to change it.
Yeah.
Because you are not the same person that you were the year before.
Oh, so true.
So
Oh my goodness,
you
Julia.
have to get these things in order, right? And understand. And you do that by just kind of getting in the game. And Crystal, what Crystal is offering is that opportunity at the Mom Link to really get in the game and start to learn those steps that you need to take to make. So I'm a member of the Mom Link. I've loved it. I've loved the people that I've met. They're always offering master classes. They're always offering training, which we'll get to that in a minute. We have that next week. But I just wanted to give you an idea of what the Mom Link really is. It's not just going in there and networking, although there's tons of that as well. But it's also the opportunity to learn from each other, meet people all over the world, different cultures, what they're doing, find out what the trends are, where things are going, so you can really grow as an entrepreneur or a speaker or a performer, because I know that there'll be some people watching this.
And the feedback piece too. You know, the unique thing about the Mom Link, actually, it was Camille. We just had a live yesterday, and she's like, you know what's awesome about the Mom Link? She's like, when she has chasing the shiny object syndrome, right? And she's like, what you get in part of being a part of a community of female entrepreneurs, she calls me up and she's like, okay, I'm gonna purchase this. And I'm like, but why? Why do you need that? And I think like we need that as women. We need entrepreneur. What's missing in the journey of a female entrepreneur is other women having her back, who have been there, who have done it, and who can take a step away out of that picture and say, Julia, do you really need to spend that $5,000 on that program right now?
Right.
What should you be focusing on? Or how about when it comes to pitching, like the cool thing in public speaking, right? And in our community, you get to come into a safe space, practice your pitch or practice your speaking engagement before going onto that stage, before going out into the real world. And you get to have women who are going to give you genuine feedback, who just genuinely want to see you grow and win. And you can't really get that anywhere else in the
No.
world.
And it's very important.
Oh,
And
so important.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. But I did want to add that a lot of times coaching programs, especially big coaching programs, are going to look at, and my coaching program is not exactly this. I want to say that right away, because I understand the importance of really getting into these practice sessions, getting that critical feedback that you need so you can make those small changes. Because a lot of times as an entrepreneur, and I know especially as a performer and a speaker, it's little things that make all the difference in the world. So if you've got this program that's just glossing over everything, you're never going to really get down to the nitty gritty of what it is that's holding you back in speaking in a keynote. I'm just going to use that because that's my area. So let's say a keynote. What are you doing with your eyes that are, maybe there's something going on with your eyes and you're turning people off and you don't even know you're doing it. You don't even recognize it. So it's great to what Crystal says is you've got this feedback that's coming in and you're like, all of a sudden your eyes are open to something. You're like, I didn't even know I had that problem. Okay. I knew I had these, but not this. So it's a lot of growth that really goes on there and a lot of value that the Mom Link is offering. And I want to say this because, and you can just add your thoughts on this, Crystal, because, you know, as women, a lot of times, and I have experienced this in my life, is instead of being supportive of each other, there are a lot of women who are adversarial towards other women. There's a competition always going on. And that always haunted me growing up. You know, if you're successful, you always feel like the odd man out. I mean, you sometimes feeling like people want you to lose instead of win.
Mm-hmm.
And have you ever experienced that?
Of course. Oh my goodness. Like, I think as women, why do women compete? It's not our fault. Like, ladies, if you're listening in, like, take it off your shoulders. It's not your fault if you ever looked at another woman and been like, why her and not me? Or felt jealous or felt competitive and felt like, you know, she's lucky, you know, she was
Right.
born into success. You know, it's normal for us as women. Look at the world we live in. We are born into a society who has pitted women against each other, women are born into a world where there's lack of opportunities for females. We are compared to look at our social media platforms. Women are like, we live in a culture of comparison. We are forced to compete with each other. So it's not our fault. And this is like, our brains have been wired this way over like decades and decades of being pitted against each other. So it's natural. I'm not going to sit here and say I never felt competition or I never felt jealous or I never, you know, said those things myself. I did, for sure I did. But Mom Link and this movement, this community has like literally rewired my brain. I no longer, that's not my impulse. That's not my reaction. I see another woman like succeed. I'm like, oh, she can do it. Oh my gosh, I can do it. Let me ask her how. Like that's like my natural instinct now. Or like, I think about like, I see somebody in the community doing something that, oh my goodness, let me ask her what tools she used to do that. That's so cool. Like, and I think it's just like driving a car again, to rewire our brains and to get rid of that competition and instead embrace collaboration and the success that comes when women choose to collaborate. I think it's just practicing. It's practicing showing up for other women. It's practicing collaborating with other women. It's getting rid of that voice that rears its ugly head that sometimes is that natural wants to compete. And I think when we do that as women, we can not just change what we feel and how we interact with women and getting rid of that competitive nature, but we're also changing the future for our younger generation of females as well. So
absolutely.
And come on, nothing feels better than having the courage, because sometimes it's about courage too. You know, when you're out in the world and you see some random stranger and her dress is tucked in her underwear.
Yes.
I don't know if I've actually ever seen that happen. I feel like I have.
I actually know someone that went through a theater and they didn't have any underwear on, Crystal.
Oh my goodness. Well, it feels good to be that woman who got to save her and say, oh my goodness, woo, like, let me help you out. Or it feels good to be that woman who gets to hear another woman's pitch and be like, oh my goodness, your pitch really lost me. I'm not interested in buying what you're selling. Like, that's what the Mom Link community does. And I think that's what women need to do more for each other. And so when you talked about, and this is why I'm so excited for you to teach this masterclass in the Mom Link community about confidence in public speaking, because you can invest in these big programs that tell you the keys to being a good speaker and the roadmap. And like, here's, you know, step A, step B, step C. But sometimes there's things in between those steps that you can only get from somebody like you, Julia, who will say, okay, your eyes were doing something weird. We need to fix that. Because, you know, when you're in a big program, you're not going to get that type of feedback, right? No. And so that's what the Mom Link does. And that's why that's why we have members like you. We recognize all the members in our community are experts in their field. And so you're an expert at public speaking, and you're an expert at building that confidence and really those commanding that
Right.
confidence as a public speaker. And so having you teach this masterclass to a community of female entrepreneurs, and you being able to say, hey, Crystal, you're doing something weird with your eyebrow. You got this eyebrow thing. Or Crystal, like you're speaking way too loud. It's important to speak loud, but maybe that's a little too loud, right? Like it's such a great place to have that space to do so. And I think that's how we get rid of competition. That's how we get rid of women competing with each other. We just actually genuinely support each other and
Right.
genuinely want to see each other grow and win, and know that there's enough room for all of us to
I
succeed.
think
There's
that's the
actually more
key.
room
That's what keeps
when
coming up
we
in my mind, is
yeah.
that just to know it's a big world out there. My audience isn't gonna be the same as somebody else's audience, and who resonates with me is probably not gonna be the same as another person. So there's a whole big old world out there, and it's just waiting for you to share your story, your skills, right? So but through supporting of each other and the collaboration and the connection, that's really where these networks are made. This is how you find your tribe. This is how you find your clients. And speaking, I'm just going to get a really shameless plug right here. Speaking's the fastest way to do it, right? So
Yes.
it's great. And when I say speaking, people often think, and I say performing, they often think standing up on a stage. But we're speaking right now, right, with each other, and we're speaking to an audience out there of people who really need this information. So we're speaking. We're performing right now. You maybe someone out there is listening has a job interview today, and that's speaking and performing as well. All right. And so these things that Crystal's talking about, the Mom Link is a great space for you to really come in there, get your feet wet, and learn. And it's safe too. It's safe, and that's the beauty. That's the beauty, because a lot of what we're doing as entrepreneurs, as speakers, as performers, is we're making ourselves vulnerable. Because really, to be authentic, you have to be vulnerable. So you're really putting yourself out there. You're opening yourself up for criticism, and that's very scary. All right, but when you have a community like this that you know is going to be behind you 100%, all right, it gives you a little bit more confidence and a big safety net to really continue going forward and to trying new things. So,
Julia, can I ask you a question about speaking? I love that you recognize that this is okay. So just like I used that story about everybody always wondered, like, how did you get to go work in Africa, or how did you get to go work here? Same thing. I'm sure you get the same question about speaking on stages.
right.
There's so many women in the community, so many female entrepreneurs are like, I want to get paid to be a speaker on big stages. Like, how can I get there? Right. And I'm like, that takes a lot of work. And everybody wants to be paid to speak on a massive stage. And my answer is exactly what you just said. And I'm sure you would say the same thing, right, Julia? Would you give the same advice? Start doing it this way. You want to get eyes and ears on your product or your service, or you want new clients, you don't need to necessarily go pay to speak in front of a massive crowd. Sure, that's going to help, right?
Well,
But
I can tell
this is
you
free. This is a free
it
opportunity
is.
to
And I
practice
can tell
and
you
get your word out
right now, just want to share this real quickly while you're talking about that. I think I hold the record for getting a client in. I got a client from a room that had less than 3 people in it, a big client.
there.
That
Wow.
tells you right there that it's not the size of the stage that really matters. It's is it the right audience for you, and are you speaking their language? Are you speaking to that audience? And that's a little tip for anybody that's listening, speaking. So really keep that in mind. And honestly, you're speaking all the time. When you answer the phone for a business call, you're speaking. When you're interviewing, you're speaking. All right. When you're networking, you're speaking. So these are
Yes.
all opportunities for you to speak. And yes, I have some tips about that, making that money and getting out there. And we're going to be talking about that. So now's a good time to really bring it up. On Tuesday is masterclass day for Julia and the Mom Link. Okay.
Yes.
So in the Mom Link, you can come into our masterclass, and Crystal, you can tell them how they can get in there to join in if they want to. But I am doing a training in the Mom Link group at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to be talking about speaking to sell. So that's persuasive speaking. That is a very specific type of speaking. And we're going to be talking about the importance of that. And I'll be giving some tips and mistakes that people make when they do it that are really holding them back and keeping them from getting those top tier clients that they want. So part 1 is at 11. And then part 2 is going to be at 7 p.m. in the evening. And you can see right below my picture right here, I have my link up. And if you would like to come in that, it is complimentary. So I would love for you to come in that class and join us. It's 1 hour, really 45 minutes and a 15-minute Q&A. So grab that link, if you will, grab the link and be sure to join in. Now, this is for the 7 p.m. class. Crystal, how can someone get in the 11 a.m. class?
Yeah, and let me just ask everybody who's watching right now or watching the replay, this is happening next Tuesday, 11 a.m. EST. And if you're a female entrepreneur and you want to sell, drop me a 1 in that chat so I know who you are. And if you are a female entrepreneur and you're not putting a 1 in that chat, then I'm not sure you're in the right field, because all entrepreneurs want to do is we want to sell,
That's right.
That's what we're here to do. We're business
That's
owners.
right.
We're looking to sell. And if you're looking to sell, you need to know how to speak to sell. So I highly encourage RSVPing. If you're a member of the Mom Link, this is a complimentary class for you every Tuesday, 11 a.m. EST. Head over to Might Need Networks. Make sure you hit RSVP. And don't miss this opportunity, this one-on-one opportunity with Julia. And to ask any questions, come prepared. If you are not a member of the Mom Link and you're like, oh, I'd really love in on this class, we do offer a one-time complimentary access to our masterclass program. So definitely you can reach out to me, the Mom Link, on any social media platform. Send me a DM. I'd love to invite you as a guest to our masterclass with Julia on Tuesday.
Absolutely. So you've got 2 opportunities. You can come to one, or you can come to both, actually. Just 2 separate links for that, one through the Mom Link and then the one which is my link down below. So different times, whatever time works for you, that would be great. And I'm really excited about it because there's some specific techniques we'll be talking about. And I just want to say, because we're right at 11:30, we're actually a minute or 2 past, but I want to tell Crystal, thank you so much, Crystal, for being here today, for sharing all of this value and really talking about the Mom Link. And let me add very quickly that it's called the Mom Link, but I'm not a mom. Well, I am, to my little 45-pound fur ball. I'm a fur mama. Okay, that's it. But I'm not even a mom. So this is really about women empowering women, women helping women. So whether you're a mom to a fur baby like I am, or you're a mom to children, human children, or you're just a woman, a female entrepreneur, it's someone that wants to network and get involved, we really invite you to join, because it's for women who really want to be working with other women. So,
and who are ready to truly and honestly invest in yourself, build yourself the business of your dreams, and be surrounded by women who are there to support you, give you the tools, resources, and be at the finish line to cheer you on when you get there. So,
and that's important, you guys. If you don't celebrate the wins, man, what are you really living for, right? We're just living in the future. So, and what better way to do it than with other people? All right. Celebrate those wins.
Well, Julia, I'm so excited to be at your masterclass. Again, like last call, make sure you do not miss this masterclass, Tuesday, 11 a.m. EST. Mom Link ladies, make sure you're hitting that RSVP button. We want to see you there. Everybody needs to hear what Julia is about to teach us about, really speaking with confidence and understanding how to speak to sell.
Absolutely. Any questions that you have, feel free to drop us a message in the chat, and we hope to see you next week. Thanks a million, Crystal. Have a beautiful weekend.
You too, Julia.